The sun had just begun its slow climb over the red mesas when Daniel Cole wiped the dust from his brow, staring across the vast, untouched land that stretched beyond the horizon. He had been a driller for 20 years, a cowboy by soul and a wanderer by heart, but nothing in all his roaming had ever compared to the peaceful stillness of the Apache reservation he had been hired to survey. The land felt alive, not with the noise of machines or men, but with a kind of sacred quiet that made a man take off his hat without even thinking. Daniel hadn't come with greed like the companies that paid him. He came because he needed work, yes, but he also came because he felt something pulling him there. Maybe it was the silence. Maybe it was the history buried beneath the sands. Or maybe it was that strange dream he had the night before he first arrived, of warriors standing in a circle, watching him with eyes full of warning and wisdom. For 3 days, Daniel drilled small tests, careful not to disturb anything more than necessary. He worked alone, humming old trail songs, respecting the land the way he would respect an elder. On the third night, just as the fire he lit crackled low, he made the discovery that would change everything. The ground beneath his feet trembled. A dark line formed in the dirt, and then glossy black, unmistakable. Oil seeped slowly upward like a serpent. Awakening after centuries of sleep, oil, enough to make any man rich beyond imagination, enough to make corporations fight and governments intervene, enough to destroy everything sacred about the Apache territory. He didn't shout. He didn't celebrate. He just stared, feeling a strange heaviness in his chest. As a cowboy and driller, he knew what oil meant. But as a man raised to respect others' homes and boundaries, he understood something deeper. This land wasn't meant to be taken. Not by him. Not by anyone. When he returned to the local Apache council the next day, he didn't bring machines or investors. He brought honesty. "There's oil there," he said quietly. "More than any of us expected. But I'm not touching it. This land belongs to you, and I won't be part of destroying it." The elders exchanged uncertain glances. They weren't used to outsiders walking away from fortune. One elder, a tall man with silver braids and eyes sharp as obsidian, stepped forward. "Why do you tell us this? You could have lied, taken it, become rich." Daniel shrugged, almost embarrassed. "Because it's not mine," he replied, "and I couldn't sleep at night knowing I stole from people who trusted me." The room fell silent. The air felt heavy with something Daniel couldn't understand. Respect, maybe, or curiosity. After a long pause, the elder nodded slowly and said, "You are a strange cowboy, Daniel Cole. Not many of your world leave gold for the sake of honor." Daniel tipped his hat. "Maybe your land reminded me who I'm supposed to be." He walked away from the project, from the oil, from the tempting future of wealth. He returned to his small ranch 2 states away, living quietly, raising cattle, fixing fences, and thinking often about the tribe he had met, the kindness in their eyes, the strength in their traditions, the mystery in the silent desert. 7 years passed. Seasons rolled by. The world changed. Daniel grew older and a little lonelier. He sometimes wondered if he had done the right thing, but deep down, he knew he had. What he didn't know, what he couldn't even imagine, was that the tribe had not forgotten him. They had been watching, waiting, preparing, and when they finally returned, the entire town would witness something unbelievable, something no one could ever explain. It was a cool autumn morning, when Daniel first sensed something unusual in the air. He stepped outside, mug of coffee steaming in his hand, and noticed the distant rumble. Not thunder, not wagons, but something rhythmic, powerful, controlled. Hoofbeats, many of them. Dust rose far down the road like a golden cloud being pushed by invisible hands. Daniel squinted into the sunrise, his breath catching in his throat as shapes began to form. Horsemen, dozens of them riding in perfect formation. Their feathers glowed in the morning light. Their paint marked them as warriors, Apache warriors. Daniel lowered his cup slowly, unable to move or speak. The riders approached until they filled the entire front of his ranch. Horses snorting, hooves stamping, the ground trembling beneath them. Then the formation parted, and through the center rode the same elder he had spoken to 7 years earlier, the man with silver braids and obsidian eyes. He dismounted with a grace that defied his age. Daniel stepped forward, confused but respectful. "Elder, what brings you here?" he asked softly. The old man placed a hand on Daniel's shoulder. "7 winters ago," he began, "you found great wealth on our land, and you chose honor over gold. You chose us over yourself." Daniel swallowed, unsure how to respond. "I only did what was right." The elder smiled faintly. "That is why we are here." Behind him, warriors unrolled a long buffalo hide scroll, painted with symbols Daniel didn't recognize. "For 7 years," the elder continued, "we have watched how the world changes. We saw men come to take land that is not theirs. But we also saw you defend your small ranch from those who would buy it and drain its worth. We saw how you treat your neighbors, how you help the old and feed the hungry. A man's heart does not stay hidden, Daniel Cole. Even in silence it speaks." Daniel felt a strange emotion rising. Gratitude, confusion, disbelief, all tangled together. "I don't understand," he whispered. The elder nodded at 2 warriors. They opened a chest carved with tribal symbols. Inside were stones of deep red, pieces of turquoise, silver bands, and an old ceremonial necklace. "These are not payments," the elder said. "They are acknowledgments. Our ancestors taught us that when a man protects what is sacred, he becomes part of the land's story. You protected our home. Now we honor you as a guardian of our people." Daniel's heart thumped hard. I'm not worthy of this." The elder raised his staff. "Worthiness is not claimed by a man. It is seen by others. And we have seen you." The warriors behind him bowed their heads. The entire formation of riders lowered their weapons in salute. The silence that followed felt like electricity humming across the earth. But the elder wasn't finished. "We bring another gift," he said. He motioned to a young Apache man holding a rolled document. The warrior stepped forward and handed it to Daniel. "This," the elder said, "is the legal deed to the 500 acres surrounding your ranch." Daniel's eyes widened. "What, that land is—" The elder nodded. "Tribal land, our land, and we give it to you, because you proved you would never abuse it." Stunned, Daniel struggled to speak. "Why me?" The elder replied. "Because you walked away from wealth, and in doing so, you earned something far greater, trust." Daniel felt tears burning in his eyes. The warriors mounted their horses again, forming a protective circle. The elder placed his hand on Daniel's heart and said, "Guard this land as you guarded ours." With a final nod, they rode away, leaving Daniel standing alone, and yet, for the first time in his life, he didn't feel alone at all.